right, we are recording. Yeah, man. So if you could just give a quick little intro, see where it goes.
Sure. My name is Nick. Uh, when I first started talking with Josh, I was in a place of working on a lot of different things. I was working on pursuing med school. I'm also working in a software company, looking at potentially SEO stuff. I was just had a lot of different balls in the air. And after having a discussion with him, I kind of realized, no matter what, I was going to achieve them. And I think that most people end up talking or are high achievers will end up achieving their goals. It was a matter of how to best achieve them and how to streamline what you're working on to be only the most efficient stuff, not wasting time on stuff that you still want to do but aren't necessarily as high a priority for you. And so after working with them, I'm now in a place where I'm working on, as opposed to I think 7 or 8 at the time, now I'm working to 2 or 3, and I have a lot more clarity on what those 2 or 3 even entail. Uh, so yeah, I would say that overall it's just been a lot about redefining and specifying exactly what to work on, how to get there, and how to best allocate time to achieve the results you want.
Totally. Awesome, man. And an objection that would come up for me,
Mm-hmm.
like you talk about like efficiency, productivity, like getting stuff done, but you know, what about like in terms of enjoyment? Like what was it actually like doing it? Like maybe you could talk a little bit about like what was the actual work that we did?
Mm-hmm.
Like what kind of stuff did we actually work on? And like, I don't know, was it enjoyable? Was it kind of like hard and shitty? Was it hard and fun? Like what was it actually like to do the work? Was it just about productivity or was it fun too?
I think that I personally have always defaulted to the hard and shitty method of, you'll get the results, but you got to grind to get them kind of mentality. And so this kind of helped put into perspective more of that hard and fun. Uh, it shouldn't be easy, especially not if you enjoy challenges. Uh, if it's easy, you probably aren't enjoying it very much. But it also shouldn't be miserable to tough through it. Easiest one that came up was like working out from a health perspective. Uh, I'm very diligent and good about working out frequently, but I was hating it because if you don't enjoy the workout, then you're just doing it for the sake of fitness as opposed to finding a sport or an activity that still gets you those results, but is actually enjoyable in the process. So I think while the priority isn't fun, it's something that we have discussed and kept in mind throughout this whole thing of what route to get those results would be the most enjoyable and the most fulfilling to go through.
Awesome. So in general, for a simple answer, like did you enjoy the coaching or was it like kind of one of those things that was like not enjoyable but like a necessary evil or somewhere in between?
I enjoyed the coaching. I would say I enjoyed the coaching, but I also enjoy learning. So if you enjoy learning and you enjoy like analyzing critically different methodologies or different processes, like I think it's a ton of fun.
Totally, man. So if you were to kind of like maybe summarize like in like 2 or 3 points, like what is it that got you? So you're juggling all these things, you're stuck doing
Mhm.
all these things. Like if you're to summarize in like 2 things or 3 things that you did or we did together, I mean, really you did. I kind of just was like here
Mhm.
directing a bit, but like
Mhm.
what actually got you to where you are now? And maybe after that, just describe what position you're in now. You said you got like 2 or 3 things instead of 4 or 5, but like
Mhm.
how would you really describe that result for someone who's, maybe thinking about coaching? They're a little bit
Mhm.
overwhelmed right now with like a lot of stuff. They're a high performer. They know they're going to get it done eventually. Yeah.
So the question is along the lines of what did we actually do to get the results?
Yeah.
So a lot of it was stepping back, and I know most people are aware of thinking about, why are you working on this? But when you actually zoom into not just, why are you working on this, but also like, will that bring you the fulfillment you're looking for? And which of these will you bring you the most fulfillment? It's a lot easier to narrow in on which of those actually matters. So where I was working on 7 or 8 things, now I'm working on the three, and the three I'm working on that I care most about are uh, working towards creating a biotech clinic, one of which is through, and really this is 2 things, uh, because I'm both pursuing medical school and I'm taking on or looking to take on projects around creating medical devices for different clients. Uh, and the other side of the coin of what I'm working on is I'm still working in that software business, develop the needed business skills. But Everything else is just stuff that I want to be doing. That's not necessarily, like, for example, health and relationships. Those are still things I'm doing, but they're not the highest priorities. They're just things that I'm allocating time when I have time to do them. So it's a lot of just prioritizing and removing the things that don't fulfill your actual needs to reach what your goals.
That makes sense. Awesome, man. Um, yeah, thanks for like thinking that out with me. And
Hmm.
there's no like cut and dry answers here, so it's a little bit
Hmm.
thinking on the fly.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I guess like in terms of like tangible results, like,
Hmm.
you know, what one or two like tangible results would you say that you have, like skills or whatever that you could say like, hey, after this, coaching, this is what I got.
Hmm. The one obvious one is I have a system now in place for figuring out what I need to get done week to week, and that helps a ton. And making sure that those week to week goals that I'm working towards, figuring out how to best achieve them, and also do they align with my long-term goals. And just that system to make sure I'm always working on what actually matters is already extremely useful. Uh, Another tangible that's more personal is I have gained, I think, probably like 15 to 20 connections I didn't already have with people who are extremely present in my industry that will be very, very useful and powerful as I transition more and more into this eventual endeavor.
Totally. Awesome, man. Yeah. Super, super stoked to hear it. Yeah, it's been, like I said, it's been really fun to work with you.
Mhm.
You got a solid work ethic. Um, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the value that you got out of the coaching for your investment?
Um, for the investment, I would say 10 out of 10. I got, uh, yeah, pretty much everything. I don't really have any complaints about what I got. Um, and I'm normally very, very critical about that kind of thing coming from like an engineering background, but I really don't have any complaints.
Awesome, man. Is there any other like last like closing comments or things that surprise you, or like just anything you want to kind of mention, just like in summary, like full.
Yeah, I would say you'd be surprised by, I thought I was very productive and I was very productive, but you'd be surprised about like how easy it is to work on things that don't matter. Like I spent so much time working on stuff that wasn't actually getting me anywhere just because it's work, and work can be, work feels productive even if it's not, unless you like actually take the time to step back and look at it and like, what is this actually achieving?
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's a good takeaway. I think it has a lot of impact coming from someone in your shoes. I mean,
Hmm.
med school, COO of a
Yep.
business, planning your own business,
Hmm.
relationships, health, journaling, reading, courses. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, three people's worth of stuff in your schedule.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for doing this video, man. It's
Hmm.
not only going to be awesome for me to put up somewhere, but it's also just great to hear back like your experience. I'm always
Hmm.
looking to improve as a coach. So
For sure.
awesome, man.